Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist, humanist, philosopher, and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, ignosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support Anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.
Second Skype ring.
I just started recording, just so you know. Although,
okay.
I'm the kind of person, I want everything up in the open. I don't try to do anything underhanded. I believe in honor and character and intellectual honesty. So I'm not like some atheists. I'm harder than almost every atheist you probably know, and yet I'm probably kinder than probably any atheist you've ever met. So at the same time, I'm very, very different.
Sounds good. So
I'm not totally liked within the atheist community, not because I don't say harsh things, but because I say too many kind ones. Not that I'm saying that they hate me for it. They just see that as a lower value, like, oh, this hippie kind of whatever, you know. Right. So they don't value it like I do. I see that as humanity. To me, if you ask me what's more important, my atheism or my humanity, I would go, that's not even a contest. It's my humanity.
Well, yeah, I would. We want to be good people, right?
That is my goal. I say that all the time to people. That's why I've had some people not understand that, because they think that my goal is atheism. I said, no, my goal is good thinking. My goal also is humanity. I just think that if we analyze our beliefs, we'll be less bigoted. And the act of being less bigoted produces this desire for a greater humanity.
Yeah.
To me.
No, it sounds good to me too.
Right on. Well, I just so you know, like, so I'm not a skeptic also. I don't know if you ever dealt with probably mostly skeptics. I'm not like them. I do not start with, I doubt your thinking. I start with, I do not know. I need to be informed. And then from that information, I will try to form the most reasoned judgment. And then from that judgment, I then try to form beliefs that are coherent with that judgment. Just so you know, I'm a rationalist. So I totally think different than a lot of other atheists. So it should be funner, I think, because I generally have a more fun personality, I think. Everyone usually, after me, even if it's something close to a debate, they usually feel like it was just a fun conversation. They don't actually, even if they, like, in a sense, lost, they still feel happy because the whole time, my goal is not winning, it's just adding to thinking. Anyways, so what I want to do, I'm going to start in just a second. I just want to tell you everything ahead of time so that we're on the same page, you know. So because that way it's more friendly. I want it to be healthy interaction with us. So I'm gonna start by just saying my name and what kind of an atheist I am. You do not have to comment. You can then, when you talk, when I say you can describe yourself any way you want. I'm not going to challenge question. I just want people to know who's listening, who we are, sort of, without us doing anything to each other to stop what we just want to say clearly. I want you to express your ideas as clearly as possible without me interfering, and the same with me. When I talk, I want to be able to express my ideas clearly, and then you can then comment all you want.
You bet. Sounds good.
Okay. So, and then also, because today's May Day, I'm an anarchist, and I just want to read 2 paragraphs about how anarchists were abused because of May Day. That's all. To start it, and then we'll go into I'll ask you. I'll say my stuff, and I'll say I'm here with the guest. You go ahead and say whatever you want about you, and I do want you to sell you because I'm fine with that. I'm not like some people. Go ahead and sell you all you want. So
okay,
I'm going to say it's just my personality is like real laid back, right?
Yeah. So, you bet.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hi, this is Damien from AtHope, and I am an axiological atheist, which can simply be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. Or it also can be understood as I am an axiologist, a value theorist. And my conclusion, after looking at what I believe is the reality evidence, is atheism. And I'm here with a guest who happens to have beliefs that I don't, and we're going to have a friendly conversation. My goal, part of this, is to show that we can disagree and still agree on some things. Like I believe, before we even talk, that both of us, and most people I would think in general, agree that humanity is one of the most important things that we should all be hoping for. So could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, tell us your name, and then whatever.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. So my name is Randal Rauser. I am a Christian. I would probably call myself a classical evangelical, which is different from the kind of evangelicals that support Donald Trump today in the United States, or that
for people that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to stop you. I just want you to clarify, because I don't like when you just use a word, like you just said, that some people wouldn't agree. Explain for what you mean by that word, because other people may.
Yeah, you bet. So, like I was saying, so evangelical. Well, I don't want to go into too much depth here, but there are 4 classic hallmarks of evangelicalism. I'm actually probably going to leave.
I want to hear, but I just want to say is, all I want people to know is what you believe, though. Just that's all.
Well, yeah, like
I don't want to be so esoteric that it ruins our good conversation. Just what do you agree with?
Yeah, so I agree with those 4 classic hallmarks. Good. So first of all, Jesus-centered, Scripture-centered, conversion-centered, and then social action-centered, which is quite different from contemporary evangelicalism. And I'm not going to go into all the ways that it is different.
Could you explain the last one, social activism, or any of the other ones, if you feel that it would help to explain them more?
Well, I think the best way to explain it is with an ostensive example. That is, with a particular example of an evangelical acting in that way.
Please give one.
Yeah, so I'll give a couple of them. So one of them would be Martin Luther King Jr.,
Okay.
who sought to actualize his faith through social action in the civil rights movement.
Okay.
Another one, if you go back to the 19th century, would be people like Lord Shaftesbury, who in the United Kingdom.
That is. Could you give us a little more?
Yeah. So in the United Kingdom, he was working for workers' rights, for children's rights, because children were being exploited through the Industrial Revolution and things like that. He became very beloved as someone who actualized his faith. William Booth, who was the founder of the Salvation Army, another example of that. So there are a lot of examples. And the 18th and 19th century was a golden period in many respects for evangelicals having a warm, pious faith from their personal belief, but also then applying it through social transformation in a positive way. That's what I resonate with.
Well, I definitely resonate with the social justice aspect. I am I'm a social anarchist, and I try to say it in a different way because some people get confused on words. I say I'm an Anarcho-Humanist. I'm no gods, no masters, but I'm also do no harm and do good.
Yeah.
As the thing, not just do no harm. I think that we should actively be seeking to do what is good.
Yes, exactly. So there's these two kinds of sins that one can do, or evils. There is a
Could
sin
you explain what you mean by sin?
Evil.
What is evil? Because see, when I use the word evil, just so you know, I want to just clarify, members, for what you think. Because when I use the word evil, I mean human wrongs like torturing babies or the desire to be racist. Those are evils. To me, I'm just saying, so when you use evil and you use sin, could you give us an example or a definition coherent to what you think?
Well, I mean, as different ways to define evil would be a violation of moral law.
Like I said, when you define it, though, please do not give me esoteric, only give your opinion.
I'm giving you,
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so give me the space, Damien, to respond.
Okay.
So because I'm not just giving you abstract. I do.
Sure, because sometimes when people talk, they'll go, well, blah blah blah, and they start giving me philosophy that's. I'm asking your own thinking. That's all.
Which I'm trying to give you.
I really am not trying to. I just want to clarify because I really like to hear genuine thinking, not just reciting.
Well, you've got to give people the space to respond if you want.
I'm trying to. I apologize if I'm making you feel otherwise. That is really not my goal at all. So I thank you for your understanding. Yeah.
So there are two parts to evil, to the understanding of evil. One part, I believe, is the violation of moral law. And now moral law pertains to obligation, which is how one ought to act, how one ought to live, how one ought to behave. A violation of that, violation of moral law or of your moral obligation, would constitute a moral evil or sin. If it's morally culpable, sin. Another way to think about it, which I also accept, it's not just philosophical abstracta, would be a denial of the end, the telos, the purpose for which one was made. So I would think both of those are getting at what we mean when we talk about sin or evil.
Well, I just wanted to know, because sometimes when people will say sin, all they mean is that, in a sense, whatever God does not like. But that doesn't, to me, actually equal evil, because a God doesn't like me not believing in him. That, in a sense, to me, someone, like, let's say you didn't believe in my ideas. I would feel no harm towards you at all. But I am told that there's plenty of religions where just my belief that there is no belief that's reasonable is enough for my grounds for hell, damnation, torture for eternity, or not just the Christian version, or 7 levels of hell where I'm reincarnated over again and have to or whatever. But my point is, I don't have any reason. If I just look at the natural reality in an unbiased way, all I see is no magic anywhere. If I look at every science, and there's been a lot of science, and they've even updated themselves, never have the conclusion been, oh, you know what, it was magic, or you know what, it was supernatural. Now, I'm not saying that does mean that there couldn't be in the future. I'm saying, to me personally, there's no current belief that is reasonable because the presumption is that there is no reason for that type of thinking other than faith. And I give it people that they have the right to have faith. Certainly, I don't try to, I'm just saying, but I still can say that you're doing it on faith, not on some preponderance of evidence displayable in the world.
Okay. I mean, I've written multiple books and done multiple debates, articulating arguments, stating what I believe and why, providing arguments and evidence for it. I've done doctoral work in epistemology. So I think I'm certainly doing Damien, you're cutting me off, man. You're not letting me talk.
But you're offering that as a fallacy, right? That somehow you're this experienced person and what I just said wasn't valid, when I'm not hearing at all that what I said wasn't valid. What I'm hearing is that you offered a get out of jail, but I am experienced. I'm not saying you're not experienced. If I one time
Damien
told you you're not okay, have I told you you're not good? Have I one time said that you don't have a right to believe it? All I have to ask is clarification. And then I just said my thinking.
It doesn't sound like you're able to listen to other people. That's the experience I'm getting in the first 10 minutes of our
Then I'll stop
encounter.
right now and you just go ahead and talk and I will listen.
Thanks. So what I was saying there was you were opining on allegedly what I, as a particular individual, a Christian, who I don't think you know very well, what I do, which is simply believe on faith in the absence of evidence. And you threw out rhetorically loaded terms like magic without defining them. All I did was point out, well, actually, I've done multiple debates with atheists. I've written 2 books with atheists. I debated some very well-known atheists. And that is all evidence that I've presented in the public square. If you want to critically engage with the evidence I presented, you could do so. But what I'm saying is it's irresponsible for you to simply opine on who I am, clearly without knowing me, and to make what are factually false statements.
Now you're trying to do a poison the well fallacy by adding in that somehow, please point out exactly, and I will apologize, where I did any kind of moral wrong to you. I've even apologized to you in this conversation. I've even tried to take time for you.
Okay, you know what? I'm done with the conversation. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist, humanist, philosopher, and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument-driven apatheism, Ignosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity, I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist, with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.